All right, guys, for the third problem on this worksheet, you are going to have a hydrocarbon. Remember, that is any compound that is made up of just carbon and hydrogen, but these subscripts can be anything. You have a hydrocarbon plus oxygen. So we know this type of reaction is going to be a combustion reaction. With these types of reactions, the products are always going to be the same. They're always going to be carbon dioxide and water. So these are pretty straightforward to write. When you go ahead and write these out, it already gives you the hydrocarbon, the C5H10. Remember that the oxygen is O2 because oxygen is diatomic, and then your products are always CO2 and water. So predicting products of combustion is really straightforward because they're always going to be exactly the same thing. Um, really what we need to focus on with these is we need to focus on the balancing portion of them. So when we go ahead and we make our rep chart for these, we have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. On the reactant side, we have 5 carbon, 10 hydrogen, and 2 oxygen. On the product side, we have 1 carbon, 2 hydrogen. Now, don't forget that you have oxygen in 2 different compounds on your product side, so we need to count both of those. So we're going to have 3 total oxygen over there. So there are specific steps when we balance these combustion reactions. We always start with hydrogen. So on the reactant side, we have 10. On the product side, we only have 2. Now, I'm hoping you guys all remember what's special about the number that goes in front of water. Remember that that number has to be even. So even though 5 times 2 would give me 10, I would want to put a 5 in front of water. We're actually going to put a 10 there and double it so that the number in front of water is even. Remember, that's the only number that has to be even. The other ones can be odd. So when we distribute this, 10 times 2 actually gives us 20 hydrogen on the product side. And then we have 12 total oxygen. So remember with the oxygen, we have 2 right here, and then 10 times 1 is 10 here. So 2 plus 10, that's where we're getting the 12 oxygen from. So don't forget to do that. Now it says to balance the hydrogen first. Hydrogen isn't balanced the way we have it here. So we need to put a 2 in front of the C5H10. 2 times 5 changes my carbon to 10, and then 2 times 10 changes my hydrogen to 20. So now 20 and 20, we balance the hydrogen. After we balance hydrogen, the next thing we go to is carbon. So if we have 10 carbon on the reactant side, we need to put a 10 in front of CO2 for the product side. So 10 times 1 gives me 10 carbon. Now, once again, when we look at this, remember that you have 10 times 2 is you have 20 hydrogen right here. Then you have another 10 right here. So 10 times 2 is 20 plus your other 10 gives you 30 total oxygen on your product side. That means to get 30 on the reactant side, we need to put a 15 in front of O2 because 15 times 2 will give us 30. 10 carbon on each side, 20 hydrogen on each side, and 30 oxygen on each side.